Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is the Reiki Lifestyle Podcast, and I'm here with Robyn, of course.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Robyn. And we're really excited to have our guest today, Nita Mocanu. I met Nita back in 2004, 2005. We can't really remember. He has been a teacher for me, and I learned so much from him back then, studying with him in classes back then, and a sound healing conference in Sedona, Arizona. We'll get into some of the things that I learned from him, particularly about the Kotodama. Um, but he actually lives in France. Am I getting that correctly? On the border of Spain. He has been working with Reiki in a very global way, traveling around the world, and has really shaped the Reiki community in France and in other countries. He was born in Romania, but now lives in the French-Spanish border. He actually speaks 5 languages. Wow, Nita, that's amazing. And he was a classical musician before discovering Reiki. And so he has been teaching Reiki throughout Europe, North and South America, Africa, and also just teaching a really beautiful, empowering style of Reiki and teachings, building community. And he is very engaged with humanistic and ways of using Reiki to invite happiness. So, Nita, I would actually like for you to tell your story and tell our listeners about you from wherever you feel like you're ready for it to start. So start at the beginning and bring us all the way to today. Oh, go ahead,
And
Robyn.
I was just going to say, and include what instrument you play or played.
Include
Okay.
I still
what?
play. What instrument?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Hello. My name is Nita Mocanu, and you made such a beautiful description of myself. I like myself more and more. and, um, and of course, basically, it was that I'm born in Romania. I was 23 when I left Romania, as a musician. Back then, Romania was a communist country, and what many musicians from Romania and other communist countries was when you go outside in a free country, you forget to go back. So I also forgot to go back, and after that, I lived a few years in Switzerland, where I got a political asylum, and thanks to the music, I could move and live in different countries. A few years here and a few years there. A few more years in Sweden, and because by then I was stateless, and also because I lived long enough in Sweden and I could speak Swedish well enough and integrate in the daily life, Swedish daily life, I got the citizenship. So that now I have a Swedish passport. And one day I moved to Spain, to San Sebastian in the north of Spain. It's a beautiful little city on the border of the sea, and really there was an English guy who came one day, and he said, "Man, you cannot live in this city. This is a city for holiday and not for working." And but I stayed, and I played in the symphony orchestra of this city, and you cannot see it very well on the on the screen, but according to the size of the person, you could might guess what instrument I played.
I
But
don't know.
because you cannot see well
Yeah.
enough, so I played string bass.
Oh,
string bass.
Yeah.
And at some moment, my ex-wife comes home and say, "Wow, there's a class. You learn to put the hands on yourself, and you heal everything." I said, "How much?" And when she said how much, I said, "Okay, it's not much." But what she understood, she didn't speak at the time, we didn't speak Spanish well enough. So she understood how much you have to, how do you call that, an account? We had to pay 25% to sign up. And she thought this is a price of the class. So, okay, not too much. And she went in and she came back at home, the eyes brilliant. Saturday night already. It was a class, 2 days class. And Saturday night she came back home with a ear shining like that. And I said, shit, she met someone, she's in love with someone. She was glowing. And this is something I couldn't imagine. It wouldn't enter in my mind. And she explained, of course, I didn't ask her what happened about love, but she explained what happened during the class. And I said, okay, okay. And the time goes by and she practices and she's enchanted. And a few months later, she says, soon is your birthday. So I thought it would be a good idea to give you as a birthday present the Reiki class. Uh, I was 40. My body worked perfectly. Mentally, I thought I was okay. Spiritually, 5 or 6 years before, I started what I call the spiritual path, and I was so happy with that, entirely satisfied. And she said, look, take note, it's your birthday present, and if you don't want it, it's nothing. And I said, okay, my dear, I'll go to the class. And I had a chance, incredible chance. It was a Reiki master, a beautiful man, more inside than outside, but outside also so fantastic. This man, he was able to explain the Reiki, to explain the approach of the energy and of spirituality in 2 days. Things what I said, no, it's impossible to learn healing and spirituality in 2 days. So he did this beautifully. Of course, the spirituality that he taught was the 5 ideas. Of course, five Reiki ideas. And okay, that was the beginning of the story. And then he was a member of the alliance, and very, very expensive. At the time, our situation was not so great financially. My ex-wife wanted to have the second degree, and she did it. I couldn't, at first because I didn't want it so fast, but also money-wise. So 1 year later, I had a second degree, and it was so incredible. During the class, I said, my God, see, second degree is so fantastic. What is a master class? And then, right away, I spoke with the master and I said, how about the master class? He was laughing because, the Alliance have 3 years delay between first degree and third master teacher. I said, no problem, no problem. And of course, he asked $10,000, which I didn't have, but I said, I'll have them. No problem for me. So, long story short, I didn't have the master's with him. And the coincidence, was that I learned the existence of William. So I went to the States and I had 94. I had the master with Williams in Springfield, I believe. And as they say in the movies, this was the beginning of the end. Because during 2 years almost, 1.5 years, I was still doing the music, and I was I started teaching, giving Reiki to people professionally, being getting paid. This I started right after the second degree, and I had quite a lot of people. But at this time, I tell you that it's a bit longer, but I tell you that because it seems to me, well, I like to share this, but it seems to me something that people should hear. At this time, I was living in a house, I was renting a house, and in the rent, there was 1,000 square meter. I don't know how much is that in square feet, 1,000 square meter of how do you call it, where you put vegetables?
Garden,
The kitchen.
Garden.
Oh,
Yeah,
garden.
where you
garden.
grow vegetables?
Grow. Yes, you
Yes.
grow vegetable. Huh? Okay, so it was included in the rent, and the neighbors who had the same 1,000 meters, they said you have to work your land because there will be bad plants, no? How did no? And these bad plants will come to on our parcel. So I had to learn how to. I never did that in my life. How to work this and how to plant seeds and plant plants and so on. This was in 91, I believe, 91, 92. And until 94, when I had a master, uh, I became almost an expert. At some moment, when I made a mistake, my neighbors would plant 600 lettuces.
Mm.
Of course, they would selling in the market.
Mhm.
And me, 2 files like that. I don't know how many, 25 maybe. Next week, 600, me, 2 files. Next week, 600, me, 2 files. And I didn't count with the fact that 2 months later, I would have 25 lettuces to eat, to do something with that. So we've eaten lettuce with everything from the breakfast to the dinner. But still, I had some lettuces left. And I gave them as a present to my colleagues in the orchestra. Wow, this is biological because I didn't use anything. This is good. I want. And from this small incident, I arrived to grow vegetables, cucumbers, so kind of small cucumbers like this. And I had a lot of people coming from Eastern Europe. We use in Eastern Europe, we use cucumbers like this, and so on. So at some point, I realized that no, I don't have the money for my master class, even to come to the States. William wouldn't charge $10,000, but he would charge his price, plus hotel, plus flying and so on, became a nice little sum. I didn't have this, but selling vegetables, lettuces, and cucumbers, I had my money to pass my master class. And I always, when people ask me, yeah, but why the last degree is so expensive compared with first degree, for instance, when I see that my other explanations don't work, and I say, okay, what is your effort? What do you do to become a Reiki master? It's something you buy. You go to the grocery store and you buy something. Ale, let's put in the caddy, put a Reiki master as well. Or what is your effort? And well, it's how it started for me. Many of my clients became students, and 2 years later, I couldn't anymore. Orchestra, garden, and classes, I couldn't anymore. So I resigned from the orchestra. I mean, everybody said, you are crazy, you are a fool. Whoever heard about, what is that, Reiki? What is that? And so I did it. Of course, I was afraid because in the symphony orchestra, I was as high as a double bass player could arrive. I was a double bass, solo double bass of the orchestra. So it was a very high position. The salary was not fantastic, but it was a fixed salary which would come every month. And then my wife didn't work because she didn't have a work permit. And we had our daughter. So it was quite afraid. But I did it. And it was okay. And now, 30 years later, I'm so happy that I did this. And this is my story. Of course, afterwards, what did I do? I taught, and I taught every weekend 50, 55, 60 classes a year, and all degrees, and move. Wherever they called me, I'd say, okay, and jumped in the plane, and I would go. Because of course, I love sharing, and that's it. That's what I do, and what I did the past weekend. It was my last class of the year in Paris. I had a first degree, and yeah.
So you teach all around the world. So tell us a little bit about some of your travels.
Oh, I teach all over the world. It's a big word.
It is a big world.
It's a
Yes.
big word. But I go, as I said, I go wherever people call me. They want me. So I came to the United States. I went to South America, in the Caribbean islands, and I went to Peru, and I went to Ecuador, and in Africa, in Morocco and Tunisia, and so on. The very beautiful experiences, which was in Moscow. Moscow several times. I was invited, and I went there. And first class in Moscow, it was the class you took with me, only for Reiki masters, and it was incredible. I found myself in front of a group of about 20 people, all Reiki masters since 15, 20, 25 years. And of course, I had my experience, but still, we were all more or less at the same level. And discovering the Reiki level in Moscow, in Russia, it was a great surprise for me. Right? So
Mm.
that was between the most interesting experiences. And then I was invited several times. Lately, because of the situation, of course not. But we did several master classes on Zoom like this.
Ah,
And there are Russians all over the world, of course, and
mm.
many people on Zoom, many people. A big pleasure for me lately. I go to Romania
I
when
wonder.
I we separated, my wife and myself. we decided, and I agreed because it's normal to agree to such a thing, that I wouldn't teach in Romania. She wanted to teach in Romania, and I said, okay, I don't know, I don't go. And she did it during many years, but now she retired. She doesn't teach Reiki anymore. And at some point, I would teach in Romania in Dracula's village. You know Dracula,
Oh,
and
yes.
my grandfather comes from this village, Dracula's village. So the family, we have a small house there, and I offered the class for French people who would come there, and it was very nice. But at some point, Reiki Association from the next town, maybe 15 kilometers, they invited me for a conference, and they invited me for a master class, one day class, hodgepodge, several things. And it was so well received that we have quite a plan for 2026. I have quite a plan to do other master classes and even classes, Reiki master class, and so on. So it's a pleasure for me because I don't do it for money. I never did Reiki for money. Of course, I earned like everybody. But it was not the first motivation. And now it's not the first motivation either. And it's just give back to this land uh, somehow what I received. Because if I am as I am today, between other things, is where I come from. Is mix of culture from Romania, from all the countries I lived, and yeah. So it was big pleasure. I do that, and I share. And unfortunately, this is necessary. This is really unfortunately because, as you know, there are many Reiki masters, very good Reiki masters, but not all of them. And many Reiki classes that from quality of teaching, I'm not talking about initiations. This, we agree that all of them are okay. But the quality of teaching is very low. Right? And you come with notions, with idea, you explain a bit clear enough the Japanese Reiki techniques, and they look at you like that. It's very sad. It's very sad because this is not normal, no? And this I realized not only Romania, all over I went, it was very often the same thing. I had one or two persons in one or two occasions that left the class. He said, I apologize, but I don't understand anything. And it was not because of the language, because of the level. Right? So, and this is unfortunately necessary. But as long as I can, I'll do it.
So, Nita, you teach a variety of styles and lineages, correct? Do you combine them or do you teach them separately, or do I have a misconception about that?
I know many, maybe 12 or more different systems. I know. I went up to master level. But I don't teach all of them because not all of them are my flavor. So the only systems I teach is a Tibetan Reiki, which where I added several things. two more symbols and several things, and included techniques. Usui teate,
Mhm.
coming from Japan. Karuna, of course, Karuna, and a system that I say why not Gendai Reiki Ho.
Mhm.
So I teach when I teach the master, I teach Usui Tibetan and Usui Teate in the same class because I consider that people should know, at least they should be able to choose to do only initiations as to attunement or initiations and Reiju. Right? I call Reiju the initiation style in Usui Teate. So I teach them always together.
Well, that's what I learned from you back
Yeah.
at the conference was the Usui Teate and Gendai Reiki Ho.
Hmm.
We were teaching
Yeah.
both of them at
Yeah.
that time too.
And in the simplified form for Reiki masters, because in Usui Teate we already have many techniques and many ideas from the Usui Teate. What we didn't have from the Usui Teate is the Kotodama
Yeah.
and Reiju. The two great, big, fantastic elements. Eh? And that's why I teach them uh, in this master class.
Why don't we go ahead and talk about that? Because that was new for me, the Kotodama. I actually think you were the person who really even introduced the awareness of the Kotodama in the West, or at least for me. So can you talk about that? And then also what I understand Reiju, but not everybody listening knows what that means. So can you explain both of those?
Okay. The Usui Teate comes from an English gentleman, Chris Marsh, his name, and he unfortunately he died 3 or 4 years ago. He said that he learned this from someone in Japan, but he refused to share the name of this person because the person, it's herself, himself, we don't know, asked him not to share it. So when you don't know where it comes from, he says it comes from Japan. Trust me. You trust because he was trustful, but you need proof. So what I did is immediately I started practicing and testing the Kotodama and the Reiju. So, of course, I was tempted to renounce as many Reiki masters in the world. I said, you don't give your source, we don't believe you, we don't practice this. I wanted the source because I go also to Japan every year, and I wanted it would have been a pleasure to go to the cemetery of this person and put a bunch of flowers, but it was not possible. Chris Marsh, I invited him to the Reiki Congress I organize every year. Since 20 years old, so more or less, I organize a Reiki Congress where all school, all degrees are welcome. And he accepted to come. And I said, yes. Automatically, he would say more about this. But he had the idea of dying before he came here.
Oh,
And yeah, it's too serious not to joke a little bit.
right.
So we were still left with these questions. But meanwhile, I practiced enough to say today the Kotodama and the Reiju are 100% now, 1000% authentic. Right? And the Kotodama, it's not something invented. Kotodama, it's using the use of sound, and it seems that it was taught on Earth a few tens of thousands of years ago. This information comes from Japanese. He was not talking, teaching Reiki. He was teaching Aikido. It was Morihei Ueshiba who founded the Aikido, and this gentleman, Nakazono, it's his name, he came in end of 80s, beginning of 90s, he came from Japan with a new wave, new approach of the Aikido. In Aikido, there are sounds. And he said that even if up to the 19th century, it's more a question of a legend, but what happened in the 19th century validated at least part of the history. So he said, 46,000 years ago, people would learn on Earth how to use sound in order to get better, to heal, and to keep their connection, divine connection. 10,000 years ago, for some reason, this teaching stopped. And it was designated a great responsible of transmitting Kotodama, the sounds, orally. About 5th century, after Christ, the Japan took the writing from China. Now we know the Japanese writing comes from China, and little by little, people would learn how to write. At about this moment, the people responsible for transmitting this teaching, the Kotodama, said, how about we write this, we put that in writing, so we don't lose it. But they said, yeah, but if it's in writing, anybody can find this book, and they code it. And they, like in a real Indiana Jones #7, they cut the code in two, and they give half of the code to a noble family, half to another family, and the book to a third family. And the years go, and coincidence, Meiji, the Meiji emperor, discovers one day that he has a book and the two codes. His family had half of the code, and his wife the other half. It's what Nakazono said. So, whatever, the book was decoded. And he said, it's too interesting not to share it. And so people would start learning the sounds, the sacred sounds. We know that Usui sensei knew Morihei Ueshiba sensei, knew Jigoro Kano, knew Ozawa, founder of the macro dietetics, right? Something like that. So of course they share the information. Of course they went to the same classes, like today. We share and we go to the same classes. And so Morihei Ueshiba introduced the Kotodamas in Aikido, and Usui Sensei in Reiki. Each one did it his way. Usui Sensei introduced only 4 sacred sounds, and in a different way than we find in Aikido. But still, it seems, according to Chris Marsh, it seems that in the beginning there was hands of healing, spiritual teaching, and sound. And afterwards, when Hayashi arrived, and he said, no way, sound cannot have an effect over the matter. Sound cannot connect us. And then Usui Sensei felt because it's his duty even to create the symbols. So the symbols were created intentionally by Usui Sensei, and starting with the Kotodama, with the sound, he found Japanese words, not necessarily logical, but Japanese words. He added a drawing, and this became our symbols. Right? In some cases, like in Honsha Shonen, he didn't want to transmit just a series of kanjis. There are 5 kanjis, Honsha Shonen. Right? So what he did, as we know, he eliminated some strokes. He superposed some other strokes, and it became the symbols we know. And people don't know, but not all people know that when you show this to a Japanese, he has such a lot of difficulty to read it, because he understands that there is something. Huh? So the first kanji, the hon, it's 100% correct. The rest is as you see it, as you want it. Huh? And this was the sound from which Usui Sensei started. It's ho a ne ho ze. Ho a ne ho ze. Second sound, e ki, became, of course, seiheki. Ki. And hoku e, and became chocolate. I ko yo, and became the master symbol. Right? And this information, you can find it more or less on internet. But if you start working with it and say, okay, it is said that we don't need a lot of time to work with it to see the results. And now I start working. Doesn't make sense, because it's not only the right pronunciation, but it's the right way of emission. You know, when we talk, most of the people, we don't think, where does the sound vibrate? In the throat? No. In the throat we have the vocal cords, and you realize, if you close your eyes, you'll hear the difference. I talk in the throat. I talk on my teeth. I talking in the, I don't know how we call it, the higher part of the mouth. I talk under the tongue, and depending on the position of your structure, the sound will vibrate some way in your mouth. This will create what we call 100% personal voice. No? Donc, so, instead of saying hoaze, hone, hoaze, hone, hoaze, I will do my best to push the sound, in my case, to push the sound from the throat in the center of the mouth. There, I imagine a small sphere. I don't know why it's blue, deep blue for me, but of course it doesn't matter. And this small sphere floats on top of my tongue, the way I believe it's the center of my mouth. And it's there where I have to do whatever I can, that the sound will vibrate. And of course, I work a little bit to achieve this. And so on. This practice, it's so fantastic that if you really place your voice correctly, and I make a parenthesis, the sound may be deeper or higher, doesn't matter. Louder or softer, doesn't matter. Faster or slower, it doesn't matter. It must be a real sound, because doing there is no vibration. This is air that I don't know the word, creates this sound when I expire. Donc, yeah, the vocal cords are not vibrating. Donc, it must be a real sound. And when one finds his way to do this, we'll discover that the respiration is longer.
Mhm.
And instead of saying exaggerate, of course, it will be then we have to in deep to inspire. And we go further. Looks pleasant? Well, yes, pleasant. Nice, nice. Interesting, interesting. And question, do you know any technique, really? Do you know any technique, spiritual technique, energetical technique, whatever, that will allow you to activate your seventh chakra in 30 seconds, wherever you are, whatever your personal state? Seriously, personally, I never heard about such a thing, right? When we are in the presence of the grand master, spiritual master, the grand moment spiritually talking, yes, maybe you have this sensation during some hours. With the Kotodama, maximum 30 seconds, and your seventh chakra, which we feel to start with like this, and then like this, and then like this. I chant the Kotodama, and about 3 minutes later, my seventh chakra is like this. It's a proof for me, 100%, because I don't know any other situation when my seventh chakra activates like that. Maybe when I received one or another initiation, of course, acceptable, but I didn't do it. the master, the one who did the initiation, or the whole act was creating this effect. Now I chant Kotodama, whatever. Hoaze hone, eiki, hoku ei, aiku yo. The one that calls me, that applies to me today, and I'm more than happy. Spiritually speaking, another stupid question. Do you know any spiritual practice that will take you 3 minutes a day? Spiritual practice that will not ask you to do anything, that will not tell you not to do something. It's your decision how you do, what you do, when you do, and so on. And for you, it's enough 3 minutes. That's Kotodama. I feel well with 3 minutes. I want more, but of course I can chant as long as I want. I want to change 3 minutes one Kotodama, 3 minutes in the next one, 3 minutes in the next one, 3 minutes in the next one. 12 minutes a day, and you chanted the 4 Kotodama. Wow. Wow. Really? And when you do that in a group, and you chant this in a group, of course, it's even stronger. It's even more powerful. That's the word, more powerful and more moving. Right? Yeah, that's the number one in Usui Teate, the Kotodama. And I hope this will inspire people to try to practice. Imagine when you practice Kotodama, imagine you are an Italian violin. Italian violin, why do I say that? Because what makes the Italian violins, you heard, everybody heard about 17th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 18th century violins, Italian violins, that today we are still unable to imitate. Right? Why they are so great? It's not the strings, it's not the bow, it's not the violin player, it's the box. Where in this box the sound vibrate, and this makes such a great sound. So us, Kotodama, practicing Kotodama, we have to think like that. I'm an Italian violin, and you have the choice to be an Amati and Guarnieri and Stradivarius or whatever. Right? That's one thing you ask me. And the second one, the Reiju. Reiju, translation, of course, means initiation, attunement, of course. But in Usui Teate, the Reiju is his way of doing the attunement. Way of doing the attunement where no symbols, no touching, not blowing. It's just a ritual. It takes maybe between 4 and 5 minutes per person. And if you let yourself feel completely the energy, it can take you longer if you want. If you apply the ritual in 4 or 5 minutes, you finished. Huh? It seems that Usui Sensei inspired himself when he created the Reiju from Binzuru. Remember Binzuru, the personal doctor of Buddha? And at the entrance or inside the temple, many temples in Japan, there is a statue with a statue, maybe when it's outside, it may be not very nice, but some parts of this statue are shiny from the old touching. On Kurama mountain, in Temporindo. Yeah? There was the Buddha with eyes, open eyes.
Yeah.
Just you enter on the left-hand side is a statue in, I don't know, resin, or I don't know what material, brown. And you look, and his legs are shiny because the legend says you touch it there where you feel in pain or you have a problem, and you will heal. Huh? A great healer. So it seems Usui Sensei inspired himself from the positions of way of doing of this great healer, and he created the Reiju. Huh? The intention is very important when you give the Reiju, and it's combined from the second degree, it's combined with the Kotodama. I don't know what to say more about Reiju, but because I'm not going to make a demonstration here, it's not the case. But the only thing, there's not a real drawback, but the only problem we have is that, what do you know? Usui Sensei would invite his students every week, and he would give them Reiju every week. But we don't know how many Reiju must this person receive in order to qualify to go to the second degree. You know, and this is a big problem because, as my way of saying, when the people come to the first degree class, I teach first, second, third, fourth. And when people come to the first degree, they have many expectations. They hope they'll heal the world, they'll heal themselves, and they'll save the family, and so on. And they cannot go back home with this kind of expectation confirmed by me. So what I say is, I give you a guarantee, 100% guarantee. If not true, I reimburse you 3 times. This guarantee is that going home from here, you are going to have for the life the capacity to channel the energy. The rest depends on you, because there are people who live on initiations. They just buy initiations and they feel well, and there are serious people who do their self-healing, and of course they evaluate much more. So because of this guarantee I give them, I cannot allow myself to give only Reiju, because we don't know. Now, I was told, it seems it's true, that during his weekly meetings, Usui Sensei would say, one day we'll look at the person, they come and see me afterwards, and you are ready for second or third, or and so Usui Sensei would decide who goes and read them. Not people like today. They wouldn't sign up for second, for next level. But I don't have the feeling and the knowledge of Usui Sensei, and I have to give them the guarantee anyway. So that's why in the first degree, I chose to give 4 initiations from the very beginning. Four initiations. And it seems for me, in these circumstances, in my world, it seems that it was a very good choice. I was guided really to do the right thing. And since I introduced the Reiju, I realized that initiation, attunement, as I learned in Tibetan and Reiju, is just beautiful. Just beautiful. So, depending on my time, I give 3 initiations and 1 Reiju, or 2 initiations and 2 Reiju. And it's really fantastic. And this Reiju, in spite of the fact that I don't touch the person, of course we don't speak, but I don't touch her, I don't blow, I don't do anything. And when people come out from the initiation room, I do it privately in a room apart. So when people come out, even Reiki babies at first degree, you see people who don't have any experience, any energetical experience, they go, what did you do to me? They are amazed about the feeling. And I'm amazed that they can have such a feeling without touching. Extraordinary. Really, I was going to say extraordinaire. Really. So this is what I do, and this is what I teach. I am quite happy with that.
I love it.
Mm.
Would
And then
you,
we go. Oh,
I was going to say, would you go ahead and just chant the other 3 Kotodama for us?
yes, with pleasure. But I would like, before that, I'd like to tell you something else I do about Reiju. At some point, of course, like everybody, I learned that Usui Sensei said, you want to evaluate? Yes. What is the formula? Reiki ideal every day,
Yes.
as well as you can. Hatsureiho and Reiju as often as possible. I couldn't offer to my students Reiju as often as it would be good. I have thousands of students. So, in 2020, during the COVID period, a friend of mine, a very intelligent and interesting lady, said, how about we exchange Reiju, distance Reiju between us? Okay, we've never did it. Okay, and we tried and it was good. And how about we offer it openly to everybody? So this came the idea that I started in 2020 and I carry on today. Every month, in the full moon evening, we offer a re-reiju. Re-reiju, that means a reiju for the people already attuned. The people that are not attuned, I consider, I think, they are not receptive enough. Maybe they can feel something, but not enough. So maybe 10 days more or less before full moon, I create an event on my Facebook and open to everybody that from first degree, whatever the school, whatever, no condition at all. And people click, I participate. And this is from their side. And we have, since then, we have between 1,500 and 2,000 people every month that sign up. And we are between 80 and 100 masters doing the ritual, the Reiju, simultaneously. People know 8 o'clock in the evening, you are in Gashu, at your home. There is nothing on the screen. And we have the same protocol, every details I wrote down every detail, and all these people are my students or students of my students, because even if in France many people practice my way, my style, not everybody practices my style. And if they don't know the Reiju, I don't want to mix Reiju plus this style of initiation plus this plus this plus this. Now I want to be coherent, to be harmonious. Right? So between 80 and 100 Reiki master, we do the Reiju, distant Reiju for this 1,500 to 2,000 people every month, and it's our commitment to the community. And of course, it's free. People said, well, why don't you ask for €1, not more? €1, it's a lot of money. And no. So this is an application of the Reiju that helps me feel that I'm on my right path, I'm there to serve, and that's fine for me. Yeah.
Before
Nita,
you go, go ahead,
you
Robyn.
said that anybody can, because I'm sure we'll have people listening, anybody can join the Reiju of
Yes.
any like lineage or school. It's the only ones that are giving the Reiju are your students, but anybody can join and receive it.
Anybody who is attuned.
Attuned, yes.
Yeah. No matter what school or what type of attunement they received, but they can join. And if someone is interested, of course, go on my page, Nita Mocanu. That's the name of the page. They have two pages, Nita Mocanu Perso. It's not that. But the information will be there as well. So we click, we go to the event, we say, I participate, and that's it. You are you participate, and there on this page of the event, there are the explanations.
And that's
In
on
fact,
your Facebook
yes,
event.
Facebook.
Okay, just clarifying. We'll put
Yeah.
this in the description for anybody that's listening. We'll put this in the description that people
Okay.
click and get to your page. So for the people that are listening, just know, go to the description and you can also find it. So, but keep going.
Okay. So there's the instruction what to do. But it's easy. It's in French, but you copy, you translate it, and it's very easy. Simply be sure that 8 o'clock you are in Gasho, 8:15 reverence, and maybe you say a prayer of thanks, and that's it.
And are you doing because you said sign up 10 days before, is it kind of like a 10-day commitment where you're saying, yes, are you doing Gasho every day at 8 o'clock and then also during the Reiju?
No.
Okay.
No. I said I publish the event.
Gotcha.
Maybe
Okay.
10 days before, but there are people signing up at 1955.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, they send a message that nobody reads it. Says, where are you? I don't find you. Because people just heard, they said, I participate, but they didn't read the instructions.
Okay.
And so it's sometimes it's funny. But normally there's no problem. The record was 2,500 about a year ago. People, and this is good, but especially the full moon night, because there are so many energies, so many types of energy, and not all of them harmonious and nice. And it's a way of contributing to this as well.
What a beautiful gift. Yes, thank you.
Well, it cost us 20 minutes,
Yes.
not more. What is
Lots of
20 minutes? And you make such a gift, huh? So yeah. So you want to hear it? Uh, of course, people at home, people who see that they can join in, and you can maybe try to place your voice so that you like it. Usually, we don't like our voice, but still, there are moments when we change our voice intentionally, but in these cases we change it moved or motivated by a sentiment or an emotion. Right? Not remember last time when you spoke on the phone, and of course everybody watching. Last time when you spoke on the phone with your wife or how do you call it, your lover or your someone you have in your heart, and you had a lot of things to communicate, and you said and at the end you didn't say bye bye. No, you finished your conversation and you say suddenly, okay, see you, I love you, or whatever words you use. But it's not ba 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 ba. See you, I love you. You see, oh, automatically you know that if you place your voice, is what we do at this moment, you place your voice in the middle of your mouth, your voice will be so much round, so much velvet. Right? And as a musician, I didn't give much importance when I could see my colleagues at the conservatory, at the school of music. We have our instrument and so on, but the people studying canto, singing, preparing themselves to become an opera singer, they were fed up because the first 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, they didn't learn to sing. They learn to breathe because you don't know how to breathe. And they learn then to place their voice. The TV speakers, they learn how to place the voice. They don't speak in their voice, usual voice. Maybe afterwards become a habit, become an automatic way of talking. But initially, each one, we have our way of getting out these sounds, which is not necessarily nice or nicest. Right? So when we chant Kotodamas, imagine you say, I love you, I miss you, I like you. And all these beautiful words that we would like so much to hear. We tell them, and this inspires us to chant well. So, Eiki, E, Eiki, E, Eiki, E, Eiki, E, Eiki, Hey, hey, Reiki. 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 Hoku ei. 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 Aikoyo. 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 Oikoyo. 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 Aikoyo, 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 aikoyo. Aikoyo, 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 aikoyo. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Nita, I think this is at least the first time we've really talked about it on our podcast. Is there more information out there about it, about the Kotodama? Have you written any books on it or done any recordings with it?
They no books. I didn't write a book about it. I'm satisfied with my manuals. My manuals are out on the bookshops. And during maybe 10, 12 years, my manuals were #1 bestseller in Amazon.
Oh,
In Reiki books, in French, of course. And well, I published another book, but no, I didn't talk about it there. So the explanation that one can search is the book written by Nakazono. Nakazono, with K. Nakazono. But in French it's out of print since many years, and I had a chance in a student of mine. She found it too difficult, this book, and she offered it to me. And I don't know, do we say in English a poisonous gift? No, a gift.
Poisonous gift. That
Ah,
makes sense.
Yeah. So she gave me this book, and of course I tried. I did my best. It's about this thick, and it's so hard, really hard, hard, hard. And probably practicing Aikido, probably that you can go little by little and learn. But just maybe the beginning, and this completed. I got some more information. Um, and maybe if someone can find Aikido teacher taught by Nakazono, because Nakazono lived in France maybe 6 years, and then he went to the United States and he finished his life there. In France, there are still people, not many, but still people that learned Aikido, became Aikido master with him. Must be the case in the United States as well. And most probably these people have a nice, interesting teaching. Huh? What I wanted to say about Kotodama, there is one more secret that I learned exactly from Nakazono. I wasn't aware of it before. When we chant the Kotodama, there is a risk of adding sound that are not there. Ho, aze, ho, ne. And without even knowing, we say ho, wa, ze, ho, ne. Ho, wa. Le ou n'est pas là. Doesn't exist. Ho, ah. So we have to cut the sound. Ho, oh, right? This is one point. Another point are the A and the E. They are vowels that force our mouth to open. A, E. So this becomes like a duck singing. You know the duck, the bird. It's like ho, a, ze, ho, ne, a, ki. The E, the O, no problem. So we have to round the mouth, to make the mouth round for the A and the E. Ho, so this is natural. Ho, oh. Almost not A, almost not an A, but it's an A. Oh. Ze, ho, ne. And of course, I do faces bizarre, but I don't care.
I know, I'm doing the same thing.
Now, I can see myself on the screen, but when I sing this, I don't see myself. And I hear, I listen to me. And that's the matter. That is what matters. Now, to listen, so the ho, o, ze, ho, ne, e, ki, ho, ku, and ho, ku, ai, ko, yo, e, yo, Easy. I,
Right.
same problem. Oi, ko, yo. Um, on YouTube, there are several people chanting this.
Mhm.
Some do it very well, and it's inspiring. Others, not so. So we have to choose really. Uh, the most funny is a young man. He's like this, and he's what you call this piece of clothes. It's not a shirt. It's like this.
A vest,
A tank top.
tank top.
Uh, just this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
and he shows his muscles, and he's oh, but I cannot even imitate him. And he's doing seriously. He wants to do it well. Maybe he's trying to imitate the Tibetan monks. Maybe,
Oh, sure.
sure, but no, it's not that.
Nita, I have a quick question. Do you know where Nakazono ended up in the United States, just in case we have a listener that is in the same area?
No,
No.
I don't know. I don't know, because first I don't do Aikido. His book is quite, um, as I said, esoteric, difficult
Okay.
to read. And the people who taught, at least in France, um, if you don't know personally, they don't really want to open up and share,
Yeah.
because at one Reiki Congress I organized, the main theme was the sound. I invited Aikido master to come and tell us about the sound in Aikido, and I wanted one of the Nakazono students, and he didn't want to come. Not that he didn't, or he was not free. He didn't want to
Okay.
because it's their teaching, and
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Sure.
Their
okay,
tradition. Yeah.
yeah,
That's fair.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Well, as we're finishing up, you've mentioned your Congress several times. So, the Kotodama, realistically, people need to find you. So they can go to your Facebook page and your website. We'll have all of that information on our show notes. But quickly tell us about your Congress every year and that people can find you there. Is it all in French? Are there any
Yes.
translate? Okay, it's all in
Yeah.
French.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, only when I had people, group of people, of course we can arrange the translation with
sure.
all the material, but if not, it's all in French. And most probably next one will be on Zoom.
Mhm.
Um, most probably, I didn't decide it yet 100%. Um, you said, is there any recordings? Yes, on my website, um, there is a recording. We did many years ago. We were 55 Reiki masters chanting this
Oh,
together,
oh,
but not as a choir.
yeah.
So what is there is it is, but the point is you people can download it, of course, but if you put this and you listen it, terrible. But if you do the the purpose, it was created, this recording, so you put it and you sing along,
Yes.
you chant with them. And then, without wanting it, it became, just imagine, 55 people. 5 plus 5, 10. Plus you, no, it's 54. Sorry, it's 54 people. 5 and 4, 9. and you 10. 10 is 1. 10 is 1 is beginning, is opening, and leadership, and so on, whatever we can say about the 1. So it becomes a great moment. I listen to it without singing. I don't like it. I listen to singing, and it's an experience, no words, no no way of explaining what you can feel in this moment. Right? Yeah, but anyway, people can listen to what we did tonight, and if the mouth feels like full of sound, the mouth full of sound, if the head is vibrating, the body maybe is vibrating, and especially seventh chakra is activating. A minority, a few people feel first sixth chakra and then the seventh. I don't know why. I cannot explain it. But most of the people, they feel seventh chakra. And see, if the seventh chakra, it's okay. No problem. In time, as we know, everything we learn passing through our senses, we can do it mentally. We don't need to do it physically. We can do it mentally, and the energetic effect is the same. And in time, even more interesting. I think of Kotodama, and I carry on with my job, with whatever I have to do. It's really all people who dropped out and never believed Chris Marsh, because many comments not nice about Chris Marsh, included. I go up to included. If Chris Marsh made up all this, he was a genius.
Right.
So I don't have any problem with that.
Well, we all had our eyes closed while you were chanting, and I turned my sound off so I could chant with you. And I feel like I feel it through my crown, but also from my heart all the way up and through. So it's like this sensation of the opening with it. So I'm so excited to work with it more. Again, I learned it from you years ago, and have worked with the sound, but now I'm inspired to even connect more with it. Thank you so much for sharing it. Well,
Pleasure.
I know we need to wrap up. So do you have anything upcoming that you want to share with people? Again, we'll put everything in the show notes so people can find you, and meet with you in all the different ways that they want to. But is there anything you want to share before we complete?
Well. They will find everything I do or I offer on my internet. First of all, in my internet site, reikiforum.com, on my Facebook page, of course. And maybe if you put my email,
Yes.
because I would answer with pleasure if there are any questions. I would answer with pleasure all the questions.
And I want to say out loud, his website is reikiforum.com, and he does translate it there is both French and English. Probably other countries have translation also, but you definitely can read his website. It's a wealth of information and resources. And we will definitely just need to have you back because we only touched a surface of what there was for us to talk about.
Yeah, maybe something fantastic. I'm sure you are aware, but we just published. I didn't say that I have a publishing house, and
Oh,
since end of 90s, I published, for instance, Frank Ajava Peter's books. For instance, I've published them in French, and a few other books. And now we just came out with a Tomita Kaiji's book.
oh, you did. Okay.
Yes. Yes, we translated, but and it just came out now in November, and it's I'm so happy because it's a wealth of information, and it's an approach that I love to read this book, and now I'm about to start again, really slowly for me. I read it to see if I publish it or not, and now it's for me. It's really good, and I encourage everybody to read this. It's really fantastic.
Absolutely. And do they find that on your website also?
No, not on my website, of course, in French, but in English. It was I don't remember the who published it. It's Justin Stein
Yeah, it's
who
Justin Stein.
took care about it, and it's available since maybe July,
July.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, we had Justin on the podcast about it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we did talk about it. So on your website in French though. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm. That's
Nita,
all.
Fantastic.
thank you so much. We just appreciate you being here. It's so good just to talk with you and see you and feel like it's in person, even though we're across Zoom. So, again, for everyone to find Nita Mocanu, and then also ReikiForum.com. And you can find him on Facebook and on his website, and reikiforum.nita@gmail.com. We'll put all that in the show notes too, and the email that we send out to our students as well. So thank you so much. And for Robyn and I, we are ReikiLifestyle.com as always.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Colleen, and have a nice Christmas.
Thank you.
Since we record before Christmas, have a nice
Yeah,
Christmas, nice year, and maybe we see you.
we will have to connect soon because there's just
Right.
lots more to talk about.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you. And thank you to all the listeners. We appreciate you as always.